Now, many of us have enjoyed the recent wintry weather, but for the others, the problems outweigh the benefits. And now the snow is starting to thaw. Questions are being asked as to whether we could have coped more effectively. Our correspondent Neil Bradford's been asking those behind our region's infrastructure whether they think a good job was done throughout the challenging weather of the last month.
With the heaviest snowfall in almost 3 decades, it's been a dangerous and frustrating time for motorists. There has been much criticism of local authorities and their apparent lack of gritting.
Given the constraints we were working under, I think we did pretty well.
A lot of motorists and pedestrians using footpaths would disagree with that.
This is inevitable. We only ever reckoned that we would grit 47% of the road network, even in ideal conditions with full supplies of salt, and that certainly hasn't been the case this year.
Over the period of adverse weather, we coped pretty well. We ran something like 95% of our services on the East Anglia network, and on our C2C route in South Essex, about 99% of services operated a full timetable virtually.
Other rail commuters were not so lucky. On Monday, First Capital Connect's Thameslink line from Bedford was running just 2 trains an hour to London instead of the usual 12. National Express East Anglia says the weather will always be a challenge for train operators.
We've operated a slightly less frequent service on some routes, but that's been really as a sensible precaution to ensure that the services do operate reliably and we get everybody there. And I think that's been good for our customers and also good for the regional economy.
Almost 2/3 of the region's 300 schools were closed on January the 7th. Despite closing for several days last week, Robert Bloomfield Middle School in Shefford in Bedfordshire was eventually able to open.
So how well do you think you coped during the snow?
We didn't cope too badly. We opened on 2 of the 4 days. We had a lot of staff come in on the Thursday and help clear up the snow so that we could open on the Friday. But being a village school, it creates a lot of unique problems in terms of serving 23 villages and getting the buses into school.
And what would you do differently next time?
The communication with buses could be improved. Also, I think perhaps we could have opened perhaps on the Thursday if we'd have got staff in, but it's the road conditions that make that problematic.
The crews and the staff have coped extremely well. Throughout the period we've had consistent staffing all the way across all the stations, never had a problem, and that's down to the commitment of the staff involved.
It's been a busy period for the emergency services. In Buckinghamshire, the local fire service says it's already learning lessons.
We've picked up some very simple lessons, such as altering tyres on appliances, and for this latest round of snow, we've already actually fitted vehicles with new snow tyres to deal with the conditions that they're experiencing.
The problems of the snow may now be melting away, but our emergency services and local authorities now have to face the very real problems of the big thaw. Neil Bradford, Anglia News.
Well, this evening on ITV1, there's a Tonight special on the recent weather.
Now, a short while ago, we spoke to the presenter Julie Etchingham, and having seen what it's been like here over the last couple of weeks, a bit like that, I began by asking her about the national picture.
Well, it's been a nationwide whiteout, if you like. We've travelled the length and breadth of the country. Mark Austin's been reporting all week on how the various bits of this country are coping, and it is a familiar story, as it will be in your area. Schools closed, roads blocked, businesses not able to open because their workers can't get in. It's been a picture of a country which is really pulling everything together as fast and as hard as it can, but really has been struggling with this dreadful weather. And we've been looking at what it would cost to snow-proof Britain, and it is a lot of money. To keep all the transport networks open, it would cost us £1.4 billion up front and then £500 million a year thereafter. So some pretty eye-watering sums.
Julie, you went all the way to Helsinki to try and find some answers. Why does it work so well there and not so well here?
Yeah, well, Mark went to Helsinki to look at how they keep it all open, and the bottom line is they're prepared to pay for it. Their airports stay open, their schools stay open, their businesses stay open, because they know what the phenomenal cost to the economy would be if they didn't do it. Just to take Britain back to an example, if you like, it's cost us £750 million a day, this latest freeze. So you can see why places like Finland that have this snow as a regular event take it very seriously, and the bottom line is people there are prepared to pay to snowproof their country. The big question now is whether we're prepared to do the same, I suppose.
Indeed. Julie, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and good luck with tonight's programme.
Thank you.
And that programme is on 7:30 tonight on ITV1.
By the way, just if you were wondering, that's one of the beautiful pictures you sent us. That is from Heather and David Gray. If you were wondering, it's at High Garrett near Braintree. Another lovely picture. Thank you very much indeed for that.
Isn't it? Really beautiful. Well, listening to all of that and having brought us the news of the snow over the last few weeks is Amanda Houston.
Yep, Amanda, after the big freeze, we've got the big thaw. I'm really pleased as well, actually, personally, I have to say.
That's right. Well, things are certainly improving now. I can't promise you there won't be any more snow, as obviously we are in the middle of winter, but it's certainly looking much more promising by the latter part of the week. And the reason is the Atlantic weather systems are starting to work towards us. Now, it does mean we are in for some pretty wet and a windy day on Saturday, and there's snow and slush already on the ground. There is the risk of perhaps some localised flooding on the roads and ice patches, but once that clears through, it should hopefully take the snow away and leave us with some much nicer weather on Sunday. In fact, it might even feel warm out there.
Well, that's lovely to hear, isn't it? Just
I have to say, I love it when it's like that, and I love it when it's thawed. I don't like the thawing, the slushy brown mush. Not good.
Me neither.
We so to have it, doesn't it? Yeah. Been stir crazy over the last few weeks.
Finally, it's regarded as one of the most exclusive seaside resorts in our region. Even the Prime Minister went there for his summer holiday a couple of years ago.
But of course, that means the cost of property at Southwold in Suffolk is sky high. And as Malcolm Robertson discovered, even a glorified shed can cost an arm and a leg.
It's not really the ideal day for house hunting, even though in Southwold there are plenty for sale. Some pretty smart properties too, but also some less salubrious. This rather ramshackle beach hut has certainly seen better days. It's got no window, it's got no door, yet it's on the market for £40,000. As luck would have it, we bumped into the Waveney Ramblers, out in all weathers every Wednesday and at weekends. They're a hardy bunch. In these conditions, some would say foolhardy, but being inquisitive, they decided to take a look. Did the beach hut and its price tag appeal to them?
No. I think my shed at home, my garden is in better condition than this. And I can't afford a new roof for that, so I'm going to say no.
It's on the market for 40.
40 pence. Chop it up and use it for firewood.
So you're not that keen then, really?
Not really. It's not even got a view. All the windows are all patched up, aren't they? It'll be total darkness. It looks like the roof's going to fall off. Not impressed.
A bit of a rip-off, I think.
Estate agent Roseanne Green is trying to sell it. Some of the beach huts along Southwold seafront have gone for more than £100,000, although she acknowledges this one is a bit more of a challenge. People will look at it and think, well, it's just crackers, isn't it?
They may do, but I'm afraid there is demand. There's always a waiting list for beach huts here. This certainly is the most popular end of Southwold.
What else locally might cost you £40,000? At nearby Halesworth, Land Rover dealer Hammond say they've sold a lot of vehicles during the recent bad weather. Now this one comes in at just under £40,000, and you'd still have a bit of change for an ice cream on Southwold seafront. On brighter days, this beach hut may just look slightly more appealing, but when the weather's brisk, business most certainly isn't. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News, Southwold.
A lick of paint and it'll be worth the money, surely.
Well, the answer is really just to drive a Range Rover down to the beach and sit in that instead, really, isn't it? Right, national news coming up next. Let's see what's coming up. Well, that is all coming up in a few minutes from now. But now let's catch up with that, not so wintry, is it? Bit slushy,
Not
bit
anymore.
wet.
Disgusting, I call it. Disgusting weather.
Disgusting weather with Amanda. Well, it might be disgusting. You need to describe it as that. And as a result of that, look what's happened. Amanda's come back in to defend herself. She's not having that sort of stuff.
We're all looking forward to Sunday. We need some sunshine, I think, Amanda.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.